computer. Yeah, the recording's in progress. Hi, everybody. We should be on Zoom in a second. We should be on Facebook. There we go. Okay, now we're fine and all is ready to go. Hi there, everybody. How are you? Oh, God, I am in pain today. I won't discuss it. Or maybe I will once we get going here. Let everybody in here. Oh boy, do we have a whole bunch of them. We've got Charlie Wallace, we got Jeffrey Stein, we got Marjorie Miller, we got Charlene Solis, we got Andrew Deutsch with his green screen in the background there. We got Charlie Wallace. We have, let's see here, Len LaFrisco and Paula 11 and also Paula 12. Where's Paula 12?
Jesus.
Hi, Alex.
Time to retire that one.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and do it. John Ewing, hello there. Jeffrey Stein doesn't seem to be able to get his camera going. Can you, Jeffrey? Can you hear us? Jeff, can you hear us?
He's on mute.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, hello everybody. How are you? Oh,
Hi,
we
Alex.
forgot to say hello to because I always avoid him in the beginning because we want him as the last person we introduce, and he's the last person we hear from at the end of the show. It's the lovely and attractive star of The Price is Right, Edward Berger.
That's right.
There we go. And there is the lovely Pamela, and there is her student, Jeff.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
What do you mean, hang on? Just move your camera up so you don't look. You're fine. We can hear you and everything. Don't touch
You can hear me too.
Now
Wow.
move the camera.
That I can do.
There you up.
Where am I?
There we go. Ah, there's that beautiful punum. Okay.
It still looks like a really bad Brady Bunch episode. But
Doesn't it really? Yeah. Okay. We probably will get more people coming on here too as well. How are you all doing?
Great.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not doing so great.
Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I was lying in bed and all of a sudden I got out of bed and I was in absolute pain in my back, lower back on the side. And it's been that way for like 2, 3 days now. And it just doesn't get any better. And I don't know what the hell I could have done. I was just lying down. I guess lying down is too much exercise for me. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm I'm not in pain right now because I'm sitting. But the minute I try to get up, it'll be horrible. Anyway, that's what happens when you get old, folks. You know, all the warranted parts start going.
True.
No
I wish we
kidding.
came with a warranty. Well, we do kind of if you get medical insurance. So it's called Medicare, folks.
I'm trying to navigate that right now. I turned 65 this year, and oh my God, the amount of paper that I'm getting is unbelievable, and it's so confusing.
Really? I don't
Sure.
remember how confusing it was because I did it quite a while ago. And I think my business manager did most of it for me.
It's not straightforward. There's so many choices to make.
What do you mean choices?
Well, you can take Medicare Advantage or Medicare Gap insurance.
Well, okay.
You know,
Can I tell you what the difference is? Medicare
about $100.
Medicare Advantage is what you take when you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it sucks.
Yes.
Because
right.
what they do is the insurance company takes over your Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Medicare pays them a certain amount every month to take the problem off their hands.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're in the hands of an insurance company who's going to want to get away as cheaply as possible.
Exactly.
So, you know, there's one thing or another, and before you know it, you find out the Medicare Advantage doesn't give you quite the advantage you think you should have. Now, what we have is supplemental.
That's what I want to get. Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it costs here it costs us something like $350 a month per person.
Okay.
But that's because we live in New York. Where you live, it could be half that.
It'll be more, yeah, in California, it'll be at least that much, but
Yeah.
But anyway, what it does is basically you go to a doctor, you go to a hospital, they do whatever they do, you walk out, you don't pay a penny.
yeah, it's $250 a year or something deductible. Yeah.
Is there a deductible on it, Mark?
Something like it's
I
like
think,
$257 a year.
well,
Yeah.
I think that's Medicare does that.
That's
Yeah, the
that could
Medicare
be.
part of it. See, because how supplemental works is Medicare pays you a certain amount. And then after that, about 20%, your supplemental takes over. So if you have I don't think I'm trying to wonder, did we have a bunch of money we had to put out at the beginning of the year, Marjorie? I don't think so.
When you have your deductible.
I think it might have been covered by I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Len,
Yeah.
the key is it says Medicare Advantage, so it's 1984. Whatever it says is the opposite.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
I've definitely
It's not
decided to
it's
choose.
not an advantage.
No, I've definitely
There's no
because
advantage.
you pay 80, you pay 20% on that thing if you have a
well,
catastrophic
the
thing.
reason why you see all the insurance companies at a certain time of the year trying to point you in that direction
Right.
is because they want to make money off of you.
Sure.
You know, and the government's going to pay them a certain amount for every person they sign up.
Yeah.
So
Well, right now I'm paying like $1,500 for me and my wife. So the Medicare is going to be lovely if I have to pay $600 a month.
well, Medicare to begin with is going to cost you about $200 a month off your Social Security.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And then you're paying for your supplemental. So this whole idea of Medicare is a wonderful idea, but it's not really covering everything. And I think the reason it doesn't cover the other 20% is that's the only way they could get it passed back then,
Yeah.
you know, because they want to, oh, the people should have to pay something. Why? We're old. We need
Yeah.
medical care. Give it to us, God damn it. We're Americans. You should care about me. I care
Yeah.
about you. You know, it's pure selfishness is what we're talking about here.
Go serve one term in Congress and you get lifetime medical benefits. So there you go.
You know, you're right.
Right.
I want the same thing they've got,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If
We
they
all
can-
do.
Mhm.
If they can afford it for them, they can afford it for us,
Hmm.
you know. But they won't vote for it. That's the funny problem about it. They won't vote for something. They don't. Somebody should just say Medicare 100%. Leave us alone. Don't even. We'll let the company send us a bill. We'll take care of
Yeah.
it. And then the other thing I think they should cover is dental.
Yes.
I mean, if
That's
you
a big
don't
one.
take care of your teeth, your health is going to be crap.
Mhm.
Okay. There are all kinds of things that can happen to you. It can kill you.
Yep.
Okay. And yet they don't take care of medical. You gotta go buy a medical plan and you pay like I don't know, $100 a month and you get $1,500 coverage a year.
Yeah.
You know, what's that all about? You know, so I think, I don't know, call me a communist. I think the government should take care of all of it. And after we reach a certain age, and we paid a lot of money into this system, and we paid our fair share, why shouldn't we be taken care of by the government?
You're communist.
Yeah.
No, you know what I am is I'm a guy who believes in what the American system purports to be and isn't.
These days, I don't know what the American system even purports to be.
Well, I think it's wonderful. The latest thing, no, I hate to get into politics, but almighty, you just can't avoid it, can you?
Yeah. No.
Yes, Vernon.
One thing you haven't heard lately is the fact that if we had a single payer system, then your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, all of that would go down because you would not have to have a medical rider on there if somebody gets hurt in a
Mm,
car wreck or if they stumble on your
Very
house,
good.
on your
Very-
property. You don't have to have
interesting.
health care coverage for that if you've got single payer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Never
Wow.
thought of that.
Everybody's covered.
Good point.
Yeah.
Really good point.
So the insurance companies are what's running things, basically.
No, yeah.
The insurance
I'm
company.
shocked.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just and the latest thing with Trump, a couple of things. Number one, this absolute debacle that's happening at the Kennedy Center, which is kind
Oh,
of our national theater for the performing arts. Okay, and it's been taken over by Trump. He's the head of it. So, I mean, what are we going to get? Reruns of The Apprentice?
And he can't even sing and dance.
Huh?
He can't even sing or
He
dance.
can't even sing or dance. I wonder if Vance can sing and dance. Anyway,
So I went after Smithsonian as well. The Smithsonian. The
Yeah.
so I was going to say that's the next thing. He wants to take over the Smithsonian because he wants to revise history.
Yep.
Did you hear where the judge? Did you hear where the judge basically threw Trump a curve with the elimination of the CFPB? He said you can't do it. You got to hire back all these people.
What's the CFPB?
The
Protection.
the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're throwing a lot of stuff back in his face. I mean, the one that's really horrible, I'll tell you, is Voice of America, which I guess is a favorite of mine because it's radio, right? And in fact, I used to have a boss who, when he left working at the radio station I was at, became the head, I think, of Voice of America for a while. And then he married Monica Lewinsky's mother. You know,
Lewinsky.
he was one of the Strauss family. They were the ones. Remember, if you ever saw the Titanic movies, there's always that couple where the husband says to the wife, "Get on the boat," and she says, "No, I'm staying with you."
mm-hmm.
You know who that was the Strausses, and they died on the Titanic.
Right.
Fortunately, our Peter Strauss survived. So anyway, those were the people I worked for. Terrible people. Terrible. Absolutely. But anyway, where was I? Oh, so this revisionist history. I mean, come on. I find it all just tasteless because you're dealing, you're tinkering around with something that's very important. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, but let's not get into that. I don't want to get too depressed. My back's hurting enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Now my ass will start hurting because I guess who's a pain in the ass,
Well, on CNN or something there today, they were doing a promo for something, and one of the commentators was saying Trump is like the norovirus. While we're cleaning up the puke that's coming out of his mouth, the shit that's coming out the back is so much worse.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Where are a lot of our people lately? Mandy's not here, and Brian's not here, and
Francine.
Brian's got a career change happening there.
Yeah,
Bill-
Brian's job hunting.
Yeah.
Brian is job
think he-
hunting. I'll have to give him that.
No, no, he found a
I think he's got a consulting job. Yeah.
He's got a consulting job, but he wants a full-time job, not just a consulting job.
Of course.
What's a consulting job? You just go in and go, that looks good.
No,
Yeah, I was a consultant for years. It's still it's a regular job. You go in every day, you do it online, and they pay you hourly, and they don't give you benefits.
There it is. There it is.
that's one type.
They don't give you benefits. Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually somebody who has a special skill that's needed for a special project, where they're not looking for a full-time employee and they want quick movement. So they bring someone in to
Nobody
resolve.
gets hurt.
So have you been a consultant ever?
That's what I do.
Oh, that's what you do. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And damn it all, you pay for your own health insurance, right?
Oh yeah. It's only 2,000 a month.
Ooh.
It's only 2,000 a month?
Yeah, actually it just went down because my wife's now on Medicare, but yeah, it was costing me about 1895, 2,000 a month.
Now,
Yeah.
now
But
you
it's
want
tax deductible, right? If you're a consultant, that you can deduct that.
No,
You
Well,
can't.
if you're
oh, you can't
1099,
deduct your medical. You
No.
can't deduct your
not
medical.
not in the way you would think. Although I'm helping a friend of mine that had a medical issue this week. He had a problem vasectomy. He didn't want to have any more kids, so he went and got a vasectomy. Came home in pain, and the kids were still there.
Oh God.
it's like the
Oh,
joke that's they've
yeah.
decided we don't want to have any kids. We're going to tell them tonight.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, but really, quite a deal. And insurance and all of that you got to take into consideration. I mean, people lose a job, they also lose their insurance, their health insurance.
Yeah.
And a lot of those health insurance plans at work, I can't remember if mine was any good because I never had to use it much. The trouble is that when you get it under normal conditions, like with,
Well,
right, it's
you're
when
older.
it's when you don't really need it.
Yeah.
When you finally do need it, now you're strapped with Medicare, which is not bad if you can afford the extra money for a supplemental, in which case you never pay for anything when you walk out of a doctor's office. Oh, but getting back to the toothal insurance, dental is so important, and we should be able to get it. And it should be part of Medicare for crying out loud. But it's not. And if it were part of Medicare, a lot of dentists would be charging less for what they're doing. The problem is that with doctors, they have to take what Medicare says they should be charging, not what they think they should be charging. So they send them a bill for $1,000 and they get 120. Uh, and it should be that way with dental. Then I go into a dentist and they've got to deal with that. But anyway, so I get $1,500 a year. When we were with After, we got $2,500 a year dental. At least that helped more. But anyway, I complain because I can. Do I look too pale?
Because you're good at it.
Do I look too pale today?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I looked pale. Well, I don't get out in the sun much. Do
Do I
I,
get
Marjorie?
pale?
What?
Do I get pale?
What? Do I? Who?
I tan.
Oh, you tan.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you're in the dark too, so we can't
Oh.
see. Oh yeah, but you got color.
Yeah.
Well, what do? Sit out on the porch?
Sit out there by the pool.
Oh, by the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your pencil pens.
Tough job.
Do you go in the pool?
Yeah, I do exercises in there.
I would like to have a pool to go into because, like with this back problem, it probably would help with the back problem without being high impact exercise.
Mhm.
Yep.
I love swimming because it's low impact exercise, although it does really exercise you because swimming, as opposed to any other exercise you can do, exercises almost every muscle in the body.
Yeah.
You know,
Standing in the pool drinking a cocktail doesn't seem to do that for me.
no, that does.
You have to use two.
Yeah, having that little ducky around your waist doesn't help. But yeah, I used to love swimming. Used to love the water, but I've just never been any place where I have one. I mean, New York City, it's not like you have
Yeah.
a pool everywhere. Some apartment houses have pools. They could put one in our courtyard, Marjorie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
And during the winter, they could turn it into an ice skating rink.
Did you see all the rooftop pools in Bangkok during the earthquake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
We have a guy who's in Malaysia. I wonder if he felt that
No,
earthquake. No?
no. too far.
Okay, too far. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did in China and Myanmar.
I've seen that before where buildings with pools and an earthquake and the water comes,
We had a 6.2 when we were in Mexico, and I felt some movement, and I had the window open, and I could hear the water in the pools sloshing around out there really bad. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was what, 7.7 down there?
7.7.
that's big.
It was
That's
10
what it
kilometers
is.
underground too.
Well, we had a 7.9, 6.9, the
Yeah,
Loma Prieta, and that
Yeah.
was quite a rumbler. But
that
the
was
thing is, they
70
say, well,
miles away
that's only 7 points higher, 8 points higher. But no, it's not, because every
but
time
it's
you go up
logarithmic.
a point, it's what, 100 times
10,
what the last
10,
one was, or
10
something?
times. 10 times, yeah,
Yeah, 10 times, is it?
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Something like that. So that by the time you get to 7.7, you know, and those buildings, can you imagine in where was it?
Yeah.
Myanmar?
Yeah.
Myanmar, yeah.
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 The shake there was, it was great, but the thing was, they don't build buildings for earthquake prevention.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
You see that one building that was like 12 stories, it just collapsed?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because well, it was being built, but also they don't build to an earthquake standard, probably because they don't get a lot of earthquakes there.
But when they do, they're big ones.
Well, I mean, when we had ours in the Bay Area, everything in the marina was redone. Every
Yeah.
apartment house put themselves on what they call rolling foundations.
Rollers. Yeah.
Rolling foundations. I mean, the part of the problem is if you have a stiff foundation, then the building is going to fall. But with a rolling foundation, it's simply going to
Rock.
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
In there.
the safest place to live right now is in the marina. Also, the best time to have sex is during an earthquake.
Ah. Honey, did the earth move for you too?
Well, no, no. I mean, I went through the Loma Prieta, and my girlfriend was over. We had broken up, by the way, and she was over, and the earthquake hit, and then we went to bed that night, and the smoke was out in the streets, and the sirens were blaring, and the red lights were going around, and we were screwing like what do they
Your
say?
wife should put her fingers
Like,
in her ears.
Like
no, no. If she were there, I would have had sex with her. I mean, really, there was something about being in a disaster that makes you want to have sex. I don't know why. So I asked some psychiatrist or psychologist, I can't remember who it was now. And I said, I found that when we had an earthquake here, my girlfriend and I had sex, and it was like the best sex we had ever had. Right. And he said, it's because, he said, it's very common. He said, I've followed this over the years that in tragedies, people have a tendency to have sex. And one of the reasons they do is it's an animalistic urge to preserve your not really the people, the human race, but to preserve your heritage, your progeny, and so on. So, so I often suggested that people go to, like, I don't know, how about Gaza? Okay. And I call it a rubble fuck, but it really works. So, that's the last time I'm going to do that routine.
All right, I have a question about a trivia question.
Yeah.
Where did the quote come from? Did the earth move?
Earth move for you?
Did the earth move for you? Yeah. Where
Yeah,
did
did the earth move for
Where
you? I
did
think
that
I
come
started it.
Right after the earth cooled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. The earth move for you? Yeah, it did. I think I did say that to my girlfriend, by the way, during the earthquake. But, of course, during an earthquake, you don't have much of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty scary, you know. But
Did you go through like over to the Cypress structure, any of those places, and see the damage?
no, I had damage in my neighborhood. I was in
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
marina.
true. Yeah, you were in the marina.
I had a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
building fall down. Just came
yeah.
right down, pancaked right down. Somebody was on the top floor of the building, and when it fell to the ground, he just opened up the window and got out,
Wow.
walked out on the street.
Wow.
Really?
Jeez.
There was only one person in the building at the time, so none of the people below were, squashed or anything.
That thing happened at such a right time, right when the World Series was about to start, and a
Well,
lot of people were off the road. They're already home
yeah,
instead
but
of on the road.
luckily it was being the World Series that day was being held at Candlestick Park,
Yeah,
not out in the East Bay. If it were out in the East Bay, more people would have died from that crash of the
for sure.
freeway.
The
Yeah.
Cypress structure and the Bay Bridge. Yeah,
Well, no, that's on the Bay Bridge. The Cypress structure was the freeway that
yeah, yeah.
went
In San Francisco.
went
Yeah,
down actually to the ballpark. But the other was on the Golden Gate Bridge. One of the
the, on the Bay Bridge.
how do we call it? The Bay Bridge. What was
Sections.
a
Yeah, it was one
one
of
of
the
the
sections.
sections? It collapsed, but it collapsed this way, kind of
Yeah,
angle.
yeah.
And I think somebody was killed going across the bridge at that time, and
They were.
having a
Yeah.
car fall. It literally fell onto the bottom deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that route to Oakland was closed for, I guess, what, a couple of months?
I feel like a month or 6 weeks. Yeah.
So they got it going back fast. I mean, they fixed it fast so people could use it, and then they uh, reinforced it. Eventually,
Mm,
they take that whole bridge. No, they didn't take that bridge down.
not
They
that
took
part.
down
No.
the bridge that went from Yerba Buena Island to Oakland, which was
Correct.
one where the collapse took place. And
Mm.
I have never been over that new bridge. Do you know that? I've never been
Oh,
back.
really? It's very nice. It's a single stay suspension bridge. It's
Mhm.
cool.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody here? How many people here have been in an earthquake? Everybody well, wait a minute. Charlie, when were you in an earthquake?
Los Angeles when the earthquake hit one time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, wow.
When
Yeah.
I was in.
And Len's been in one. I know.
More than one.
Charlene had to have been in one. John, were you in the earthquake?
Yeah, I was. The
What-
pre earthquake.
Where were you at the time?
I was up in Napa. I just sold my restaurant and it went out with a bang.
How bad was it up there?
It wasn't that bad. I was more concerned about my mother in the city, in the
Mhm.
Richmond district, but I kind of miraculously got through to her on a pay phone, which was kind of a hassle, but then it connected. So it felt good to know she was all right.
That didn't affect, I think, that area very much.
No,
What was my mother alive at the time? I think she was. Sure, it was 1969.
Yeah.
Um,
19,
I can't
when was
I can't remember when my mother died.
1989? It was 1989.
1989 was the Loma Prieta earthquake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was something, and I
Yeah.
just was amazed at how you would all think that during an earthquake I'd be a coward. How many would vote for that? But I wasn't. I said to my girlfriend at the time, I said, I
That's
think
screwed.
I better get back in the car and go over to Marin County to my business manager's place. So we start going across, and I noticed right down the street, this whole street was on fire and had all kinds of problems. So I stopped the car and got out. She was screaming at me, "Where are you going? Don't get out. Let's keep going." And I went to see if I could help. And there was any way I could really help. So I got back in the car and we drove across the bridge. And she says, hurry up. We got to get across the bridge before another earthquake hits. And I'm just going, calm down. It's not, the chances of that happening are minimal. And no, nothing happened. I got across the bridge, got to my business manager's place, but I wasn't the one that was panicking. Her, who I figured wouldn't panic in a situation like this, was besides herself. So that's how scary earthquakes are. Well, we don't have to worry about tornadoes, but you do, don't you, Paula? Out there, what do you have to? What's the big?
Well, they keep talking about tornadoes, but I haven't experienced one. I experienced a minor one in Philly, believe it or not.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Didn't we have one here in New York City, Marjorie, recently?
Tornado?
Or in New Jersey? Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I don't
yeah,
think so.
yeah. But
Maybe in New Jersey.
yeah, but these are fun things. I hope you all get to be through it. It's kind of like earthquake is kind of like a amusement park ride. You know. And then it's something else you can do. How many of you in California the next day say to your friends, "Did you feel that last night?" Yeah, because sometimes I'd be lying in bed and all of a sudden the place would rumble. You know, pretty normal. So why have you just got your green background today, but you don't have Andrew? You don't have anything you're putting on there.
I'm on my cell phone. My main computer's going through some sort of a major update.
Oh, really? What do you have? You have one of those? You have a PC, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
my little TV studio computer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because what I hate about that is the PCs will suddenly decide, well, we're going to just update.
Yep.
They just
Well,
start updating, and they always tend to update before you're going to do some kind of program like this, right?
no, I clicked it. It asked me, and I thought it was a quick update, so I said yes. But that's why I got rid of all the Apple shit because when it goes, it just goes.
Well, also
Mm.
Apple,
The
whenever it does,
Apple computer I had for 30 days, and it completely crashed. And the guys at the Apple store said, "This never happens," and they gave me another one, and it did the same thing. Got my money back, and I've never owned an Apple product since.
was it something you were doing?
No, it's a defective product.
I've never gotten a defective Apple, except,
You're lucky.
Never.
I know lots of people who
Never.
have. I was sitting in an airport once, and the guy was on his way overseas, and his computer completely crashed. As he was bragging to me that Apples never do that.
I mean, I can understand how it could crash, but that you then just put it in another mode and it fixes itself.
The computing power of an Apple to do what my computer here at the house does would be about $20,000. And I've got
I don't know if I
I've got
agree with
five in mine.
I don't know if I agree with you on that. The Apple I do this show with cost me $6,500, I think, and it is
Yeah.
the most powerful machine I ever owned, PC or Apple.
Yeah, but if it was doing high rendering for video, you'd need a different computer.
Oh no, this one will render beautifully.
Yeah, but not like this one.
This is an M2, and now they've got them up to M4s, and those things are just amazingly fast.
Yeah,
but
it's a matter of preference.
We're boring everybody who doesn't care about computers.
Yeah. So, let me tell you about my electrical wiring too while we're at it. That'll be
yeah, no, what are the problems you're having with your electrical wiring lately?
No, I put it all together properly.
Marjorie always says to me, "Aren't you gonna? That's a rat's nest under your feet here in the room." And I said, "Yeah, I could clean that up, but then after I clean it up, it'll be a rat's nest." Because no matter how much you try to clean up anything, it always winds up being a rat's nest. You just have to accept it.
Okay.
No, radio stations, we used to have literally a well behind a little kind of wall in the control room on where the controls were and everything. And everything was back there. And if you looked in there, it was a nest of wires,
So they invented zip ties.
Yeah.
You know something? That doesn't work either.
Sure it does. You just have to want it to work.
Well, I don't know. I've got this
Just like
rat's nest.
just like our elections, they work beautifully.
If you say so.
Unless you suffer from erectile dysfunction.
Oh boy. So anybody's you know something? I haven't mentioned this on this show, and I didn't mention it on my nighttime show, and I really should. Does anybody here watch Adolescence? on Netflix?
Started.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Maybe the best piece of television I have seen
Ever.
maybe in my
Ever.
life.
Wow.
Huh.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
To begin with, it's a oneer, as the business calls it. It's a one-shot show. Every episode is one camera flowing through the whole
Really?
yeah. And they do some pretty phenomenal stuff. At one point, I mean, I saw how they did it. They actually walked the camera over to a drone without you knowing it, clipped it onto the drone, and then the drone took off and went somewhere else that it had to be.
Wow.
I mean, but that's a trick. Okay, but the show itself is just phenomenal.
It's brilliant.
And so, just in the beginning, a kid gets parents get the house gets.
Alex, don't give it away.
I'm just saying what it's about. I'm not saying what happens. And the kid is going to be arrested for murdering somebody. And the parents can't believe this. And that's the whole show. But it's 4 episodes. They're each about an hour. And they're all very compelling. It's just amazing.
Only
What's amazing is the kid that plays the kid, the boy, it's his first acting ever.
No, isn't it? He acted in school plays and stuff like that. So he did have some drama experience.
But it's his first time in
His first film.
Yeah.
And he does a whole scene that's an hour long in which he's carrying it and having to memorize the whole script so he doesn't screw up. Otherwise, they got to say, cut, go back, let's start all over again. But it besides that, it's an amazingly great show, and it's on net. How many here have Netflix? Almost everybody, right? Yeah.
I watched that thing you recommended that won the Oscar, that Honora.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was produced by OnlyFans. Good thing I didn't have my kids watching it with me.
What do you mean it was produced by OnlyFans?
How did they get that movie out there without an NC-17 or an X?
I don't think there was anything there that was an X, to be honest with you.
Definitely an NC-17 if that rating still exists.
Not really. Not really. If you have sex in a film, okay, which she does, I think, once or twice with the kid, with the Russian, that doesn't make it, and they don't have NC-17 anymore. Do they? Yes, they do.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But nobody goes for that anymore. They all go for an R.
Yeah.
And an R, you can have simulated sex, everything,
Yeah, that was 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
It would have been a more powerful movie if they edited out about 20 minutes of it.
It's not porn, it's HBO.
It was on Hulu.
It's
It's on
true.
Hulu.
Last night on the Righteous Gemstones, the opening is this guy who's also on White Lotus. I can't remember his name right now.
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. And he's
Great.
He's completely naked.
The first episode of the Righteous Gemstones, he's doing the flop naked.
Well, he likes to expose himself to everybody.
It's actually, he was being interviewed. That's not him. It's edited. They had to interview people to be the stand-in for his junk.
For his junk. I
and-
wonder why you do that, because even if it maybe he doesn't have enough junk, that could be. But, if you're gonna do a scene like that and they're gonna put in a stunt penis for yours,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. But why? So Walton Goggins can say, I never did a nude scene.
Well, the thing that's funny about the
Everybody's gonna
interview,
look at that and think you did,
but in the interview, they can't just, they have to actually pay somebody and film a scene and then decide whether they're going to use it or not, or some sort of discrimination thing. But one of the guys that they had doing it was a eunuch. He was missing. He had the frank and no beans. And they filmed it.
I think he said the guy had one testicle.
No, he said none.
Really?
But the interview I saw, he said none.
Well, that would make it easier to kind of superimpose, I guess.
I hadn't really contemplated the technical necessities there,
Can,
but
can we
I'm
can we
glad
go
you
back to
have.
talk? Can we go back to talking about Trump?
Wouldn't
I'm
that be
trying to keep it
perfect?
clean so you don't get
Wouldn't that be the
demonetized.
perfect guy to say to him, "Get some balls"?
No, afterwards, he went through the whole audition. I said, I'm glad someone had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong about that.
But Walter Goggins been great in just about everything I've seen.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know what he is, and this also happened. This is happening a lot. I think they're running out of actors or something. Walton Goggins is on The White Lotus, which I think this year is, I fast
No, sir.
forward through it. Right? You don't like it either, right, John?
Yeah, I think it's really slow
Yeah, very.
to develop the stories.
Yeah.
It
What do you
sucks.
got? What do you got against incest? What's wrong
Walton
with you?
Goggins is on that, and then the show right after it, which is The Righteous Gemstones, he's also on The Righteous Gemstones.
Good for him.
Now you go over to Apple Plus, and they have a new show called Mobland, and you can put that on right after what's the
23.
huh? Right after what? Oh,
23.
right after 1923.
Yeah.
And Helen Mirren is in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a case where they're just running out of actors, I think.
Or they just found
He's
one that's
so
actually good and they use them.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you use Helen Mirren if she were available?
Absolutely.
Hey, look who's in her car.
Hey,
There's
Hi.
Mandy. Hi, Mandy. How
Hi.
you doing?
it must be tax season.
It's really kind of over, but it's just the fringes of just a lot of junk.
Yeah. So you were doing work, and now you're calling us from your car as you're leaving.
Yeah, because I was gonna call a few minutes ago, and then I thought, well, I'm about to leave anyway. I might as well just wait until I get in the car. So.
Yeah. How's everything down there in Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, we had a record pollen count Saturday, so I feel like people are not feeling too good.
Record pollen count? What's a record pollen count? It's got to be 12,
Well,
right?
it was 14,000 something
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah.
What's
and it
the
beat the
highest
record
that it
by.
goes?
I don't even know, but the record before was only like 9,000 something from 2012. So my sister, she actually accidentally texted me. She meant to text somebody else, but she's like, I'm at urgent care. And
Well, that's a very
she was
common.
like, oh,
that's
sorry.
a very common thing these days. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like a couple of people I know today just said they don't feel good, and I think it's because of the pollen.
Oh, a pollen. People think they're sick, and they don't know it's the pollen.
Yeah.
Like I started sneezing like crazy the other day.
Both of
And
us
then we
did,
went
yeah.
to the dentist, and I got my teeth cleaned, and the same person who cleaned my teeth cleaned Marjorie's. And you say that while she was cleaning your teeth, she started sneezing. When she did mine, she was sneezing like crazy. And I said, oh, allergies, huh?
I asked her if she had a cold.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know if you get all this pine pollen though, this yellow crap that just coats the whole city.
Yeah.
we
just
don't get that here. Do we get pollen settling anywhere, Marjorie?
I don't know.
See, Marjorie and I have an argument about she likes the windows open. Oh,
Yeah, I
we
wish.
have to get fresh air in here.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize, number one, the fresh air in New York City isn't as fresh as you think.
Ain't that fresh.
And secondly, when you start sneezing, you go, oh, it's a bad pollen day. Well, it's a worse pollen day because you left the windows open.
Yeah.
Because that stuff doesn't just knock on your window and you open it up and it comes in. It floats in, and then it does stick to stuff like crazy.
I mean, I had to hose off my porch and out of my carport.
Yeah.
It's just this yellow dust. It gets over everything. But then today we had a downpour rain for like a solid hour.
Well, that's the end of the pollen count.
Well, it's still going to be around, but it made the air feel so much better. It's like,
Oh yeah, well no, a rain will usually if it says what tomorrow's pollen count is, it'll automatically go down if there's any chance that there's going to be rain. So,
yeah.
how many here are allergic to pollen, and how many get pollen badly? I guess we're the only ones, Marjorie.
I think I am.
Len said he was bothered by it.
Yeah.
My
I
wife
get it
is for
before.
sure.
I
Huh?
get it before the yellow stuff hits. Like 2 weeks ago, I was sneezing my butt off. It's like the pre-pollen, I guess is what I'm allergic to. The yellow stuff, it doesn't bother me.
Well, the yellow stuff is the really heavy stuff, but the fact is the pollen count like today is like a 7.9 or something like that from what I saw. And that's pretty bad, you know.
What's the highest, Alex?
The highest we get, I've seen this get up to almost 12.
Wow.
It's on a scale of 0 to 12. But she was dealing in a different level of pollen count, but you know, it's weird. Wait a minute. It's weird being the same age as old people.
Old
I've seen
people.
that one before. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, hold on a second. I got to move, and that hurts. Hold on. Oh,
What'd you hurt? Did I miss something?
my back. I bet my back. Something happened. I was just lying in bed.
It's not your back. It's a muscle on the side of your back.
What you get for talking back to Marjorie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Marjorie. Yeah. You should go get an MRI on that. Yeah, I'm not getting an MRI machine. That's the one thing.
Why not?
They have to take me yelling and screaming into an MRI machine.
They have open
Claustrophobic?
MRI. They have open MRI, so you're not in a tunnel.
Also, if it's your back, I don't think they put you all the way in.
You don't go to an open MRI and you're not inside of anything.
Yeah, yeah. I could do that. But I think if I go get an MRI for my back, all they have to do is put me in up to my back. They can leave the bottom part of me out. And if they
always put me in head first.
What?
They put you in head first.
They always put me in head first. I've had 15 MRIs on my back, and they always put me in head first.
Yeah.
Well, I have this just deadly fear of claustrophobia. I have horrible claustrophobia.
Find an open MRI.
Open ones, Alex.
What'd you say, Marjorie?
They have stand-up open ones.
Yeah, that's what he said. Open MRI. Yeah. There are different ones. There's also one you sit down in it. I don't think they're anywhere you stand up. It's
an open table, typically.
An open table,
or get babysit that cat again. You get a CAT scan.
You mean with him staring at me or her staring at me?
Yeah, it'll sniff around. If it lays down, you're done.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I can do. It's funny. I can do CT scans, but that's because the donut they put me through is I can see the other end of my feet. I can see back of me. But with an MRI, they put you in this tube. They may as well close it up and bury you right there.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Have you done MRIs before, Marjorie?
I have.
Mandy?
No, fortunately not. I'm fortunate in that.
I've never had an MRI either. Never asked to be in one, but if they ever do, I have to say, no way, you got to put me in.
And that's when they can see soft tissue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my friend Henry, he did something to his knee like a couple weeks ago, and it turns out he actually broke his kneecap. But they saw that on an x-ray. But then he was like, it still kind of hurts on the side. So he's like, I guess I have to have an MRI to see that. So I guess if he tore a ligament or something, he'd have to have an MRI, right?
I think so. I think the MRI goes, what does MRI look at? The muscular stuff?
Everything. But the extremity MRIs don't use the tube. They can be leg or arm only.
Yeah.
Oh, Good. Or hip. Yes.
I don't know about a hip, but I know.
Well,
Hip, hip it to the hip.
I'm not a big MRI guy, so
Mm.
you know.
I
This is what
bet.
we talk about on the show here, folks. Just old stuff, old
This is
people
fun.
stuff.
And the
Look at
weather,
it isn't like there are a bunch of kids here, you know.
the weather, and
I mean, the closest thing we have to a kid is when Mike Chisholm calls, I think.
yeah.
Or well, actually, Mandy, you're how old, Mandy, now?
I will be 59 in April.
Really?
no
Yes.
way.
What? Yeah, she looks
So
pretty.
I'm kind of
well,
like,
well,
ugh.
she also works out a lot too. You know, she takes care of that.
Yeah.
We can't help. The rest of us just let our stuff fall apart. You know, so
I'm pretty much constantly sore. Like all the time.
what from working out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, my neck will be like,
But
Yeah.
was there a time when it didn't hurt?
sure, yeah.
Yeah. As you get older, it gets worse. It just gets worse. I never had back problems. Never. And in the last year, I've started developing back as hurts and so on
You
and so
don't
on.
know from back problems,
Well,
Alex.
Marjorie, I know you've got back problems. She was dropped as
Tell them
a
about
child.
it, Marjorie.
She
Tell them
was
about
dropped on her back as a child, and it started there, right?
Oh,
That's true.
So for every day of your life, your back is hurt, right?
Pretty much.
So we've heard about that. Now it's my turn.
But
Here
weren't
we
you
go.
dropped on your head as a child?
Here
What?
we go again.
Yeah, dropped on
Dropped on
my
your head.
head. Yeah, yeah.
But I know that's got to be miserable, Marjorie, because my older daughter, Sydney, she has herniated discs. We don't really know why. She's only 29 years old. She's already had back surgery.
Wow.
And she's just in constant pain. And I wish there was something I could do. I feel so bad for her. She's just like, yeah, it
I
hurts
think
all the time.
I think overall the worst pain you can probably have is back pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the worst pains. Although I did have a kidney stone. That was no fun.
Yeah, but there's like an end in sight to that. Like that hasn't finished.
Yeah, but you know what the end in sight is? It has to come out your goodie.
I know. I was just hearing somebody. Who was I talking to? I don't even know. Recently,
You can go home
they
once
just passed.
once you hear clank in the toilet.
Can't they do sometimes with sonic waves? They can break it
Yeah.
up.
You know something? They didn't do that with me. They put me in a hospital bed for like 4 days with an intravenous drip of water, saline, to constantly keep a liquid in my body so that I would eventually flush it out.
Yeah, they use the
break it.
sonic to break it up if it's really big, but it's still got to come out.
Yeah, and also sonic, I believe they do. If you still have it in your kidney, once it has started coming down the tube or whatever, which is the most painful part. I don't think they can break it up, but what do I know?
No, that I've heard that is the equivalent of like if men don't know what childbirth, pain. It's like kind of the equivalent of childbirth pain. That's what I've heard.
I wonder why in nature, in its infinite wisdom, made giving birth to a child so much pain. Is that so later on you can say to your kid, boy, were you a problem giving birth to?
I guess. Who the heck knows why?
Yeah, yeah. But
because our brains grew big fast.
What'd you say, Charlie?
It's because our brains grew big too fast.
Really? No.
Yeah, because brain's too big for the pelvic opening.
Speak for yourself.
What do you mean your brain's
about the child?
I have to say, I'm still working on hot dog, but not the beans.
Beans and Franks.
Oh boy!
You ever see Something About Mary?
Beans. That's what you said.
Yeah.
You never saw the movie Something About Mary?
Oh yeah.
I guess I didn't.
Okay, watch the movie. You'll laugh your ass off, and you'll get the reference.
Yeah.
Well done.
But also, the brain has a way of forgetting pain.
Mm-hmm.
because, or at least I guess with women, because look at these people that have, 5, 6 babies. It's like, did you not remember how bad it hurt before?
Nope.
It's like you just forget because obviously the human race would die out if everybody just
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's we're talking. Thank you if you just joined us, folks. We're just talking about pain.
Medical shit. Yeah.
bodily functions.
Well, I just remembered the worst pain I ever had a couple of days ago. It was the day we were married. That was,
I knew that was
Damn,
coming.
go in there and slap him
Wow.
upside the head, Marjorie.
Wow.
That's when the fight started.
Really, wow.
that's why I'm not getting dinner tonight.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear wow, you're in trouble.
The pain in your back just became a pain in the ass.
Wow.
But for dinner, we're gonna have the stuff I bought from
Rice and
Costco.
beans.
No,
That green thing that you got, Alex.
that's a green thing happens to be a wrap. And it's green because it's really old. No, it's a wrap, and it is bacon and
No one said that
chicken,
it wasn't a wrap.
and
it's
it's
green.
very, very good. It's terrific. So that's what I'm having for dinner.
Nice.
And what are you having for dinner tonight? Let's make sure we bring him into this conversation. Edward Berger, what are you having for dinner?
I'm going out with my niece because we're going on a little cruise for the next few days. So I'm waiting for her to show up.
Is that why you have the carnival hat on?
Oh, you want to say? Yeah, I'm going on a cruise, but it's not a carnival cruise. It's an NCL one.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
what kind of where's the cruise going?
It's only going to Bermuda. It's real short. It goes to Bermuda, it comes back. I'll be back for the next show. So
Bermuda
just a couple of days.
Bermuda is wonderful.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Do you get to stay there for a day or so?
Yeah. We stay overnight. I'll be there Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
I heard in Bermuda you can pick up The Price is Right on TV.
Guys, I was just thinking about Edward this weekend. I was telling Henry about him because we were watching old episodes of The Price is Right.
Oh,
On
God.
some, local channel. But then we looked up the documentary about the guy that back in the 80s, had an algorithm and he guessed all the prices.
Did you see me in that? I'm in that too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you have to look real carefully.
Theodore?
Yeah, I'm in the background,
Wow.
I did not see you in that.
Yeah, all right.
That was
you have to know it.
That was like a really
Some guy tried to rip off the prices.
No, he didn't.
No.
This guy, he gave the exact price, and he was saying he thought of it, but it was really his head who told him in the audience.
He was kind of like a Rain Man type.
Yeah.
Like he
he memorized all the prizes.
Genius. Yeah, and it's really crazy.
Well, on a couple of occasions I've watched that show, and because it was some kind of technology thing, I got it right down to the last penny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you know but you have to also know the retail price. You can't be looking at like Amazon. You have to get the retail price.
That's why Apple things are good because they always charge the retail price.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they didn't they admitted, the Price is Right people admitted that yes, we repeat prizes. That's how I mean, they were like, if you're gonna memorize these prizes,
I wonder how many goddamn cars they've got backstage for that, because everything is, and you get a box of Cheerios, and you get you get some Spam and a brand new car.
Price is Right given away.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a brand new car. And I'm going, yeah, I know. And by the way, what else do we have in this final showdown? A brand new car.
Well, we were watching ones from the early 80s or the late 70s where they give away carpeting. I was just dying.
You ever remember? Anybody here remember?
Their car, one of the cars was a Renault. Is that how you pronounce it? It was the French car.
Yeah.
I died laughing. I was like, the girl didn't win it.
The cars were $2,000 and $3,000 back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the Le Car?
That car.
Yeah.
Le
They've
Car,
given
the
they've
Renault
given
Le
away
Car?
they've given away 9,200 cars on that show.
Wow.
9,200 cars? What, in the lifetime of the show?
53 years. Yep.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And they've given away that many. How many have they offered up?
Oh, I'm sure
Yes.
three
Yeah.
times that amount, four times that amount.
I wonder if they recycle the cars back, like if they had a brand new Range Rover or something, if they then put that backstage, keep it there for like a month and then bring it back again as a car.
The car you
Well,
get isn't the one
what
they
am I
show you.
talking about? We should ask the expert. Edward?
Yeah.
Edward?
Yeah,
How many cars?
they repeat some.
Yeah. I mean, they get, and I wonder if they have to hold on to those cars when they don't get rid of them, or was
Oh no, then eventually it goes back to the dealer.
Well, yeah. I'd buy
And
it.
the guy was saying how hard it was to do the cars because that and trips. The cars were a little more difficult because you had to take into account all the options.
Right.
See, he had this whole complicated spreadsheet. But one thing that they were always saying when we were watching those reruns, California emissions. I'm like, is that like a thing? Was it like California emissions? Was that like a huge
Oh
expense
yeah.
on a
Oh
car?
yeah. Yeah. It was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They give away a lot of the same stuff. They do this one boat once a week or every 10 days. And
you know what I wouldn't want if they suddenly said, and Alex, you have a brand new boat. And I go,
what the hell am I going to do?
Brand new boat? Take your boat and shove it. I want a brand new car. Oh, man. Marjorie doesn't understand what we're talking about because she never watches The Price is Right.
I love that show.
What I do is if I'm around and it's time, I always watch the final showdown, the final.
Oh yeah.
I don't care about the rest of the show. I don't care about all those stupid games they play. I had a Fred David Feldman, whose father was one of the producers on The Price is Right.
Oh, wow.
And he explained to me why his father said that show was so popular. Do you know why that show's so popular?
Alex, tell us.
It's not, in 1 hour, it's not the same game.
Right.
It's a bunch of different games you're playing.
Yeah.
And that keeps it interesting. It keeps it interesting. Especially
Feldman's-
people like Edward Berger, who travels out there every year to be on Price is Right.
That's
And one
right.
day he may win himself a brand new car.
That's right.
Is Feldman still around, Alex?
What?
Is Feldman still around?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard that name in years.
I haven't either.
Okay. Enough said.
He used to be my best friend, and then I stopped hearing from. And I didn't do anything to him, by the way.
He was funny as
my
hell.
lousy personality. Okay,
he was very funny.
It was very funny.
That was just a season of life you were in. That happened.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, well, I'll always have this friend, but then I've had some good friends in the past. I don't talk to anymore.
Well,
But nothing happened.
He stopped talking to me. I just Sometimes you know what I found quickly. I'll say this before I go. But with the comics that I had on, if there were any of them that I helped make their career, and Feldman was one of them. Okay, I think everybody here who's listened to my radio show remembers that.
Absolutely.
And I used him anytime I could for anything, as a writer on my specials, as a whatever. So, but I think at a certain point they resent you. They like to feel they made it all on their own. I mean, another guy did that to me was Goldthwait.
Yeah.
In just the worst possible way. And I mean, I was as responsible for his career as anybody else was.
And you still talk to Bubbles, and that shows you the difference right there.
Bubbles is just gold.
He's amazing.
It's Larry Bubbles Brown we're talking about.
I've been texting back and forth with him a bit. He's a really interesting guy.
Wait a minute, he can text back fast enough?
Yeah. Well, no, it takes him about a day or two.
He's got a flip phone, and you got to hit the button 3 times to get a C.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. My God.
That's hilarious.
You know,
It is hilarious.
and his phone carrier offered him a smartphone, and he wouldn't take it.
It's a
And
very
then
interesting.
he got he only has dial up. Okay.
Yeah.
And he finally was able
Wait a
to
minute.
get what do you call it?
Broadband.
Broadband. And he was able to get broadband, and he got it for a month because it was a month free trial, and then he turned it back in and went back to dial up.
I can't even believe there is still dial-up available.
He said there are about 60,000 people in San Francisco still have dial up.
60,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's according to Bubbles. It might be 3.
Yeah, it's probably 3.
And he doesn't want to embarrass himself, you know. Anyway, hey, listen, we're running over here, and Marjorie has dinner to make. Like handing my green stuff to eat. You're really looking forward to making dinner tonight, aren't you, dear?
I'm looking for taking out the refrigerator and putting it on the table.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, listen, everybody. Thank you so much, Charlene. Good talking to you. And Charlie Wallace, wonderful having you here. Len LaFrisco, the best. We lost, what's his name? Lost
Andrew.
Andrew.
Paula, yeah.
And we lost Paula too. She had to go somewhere. Vernon Dunn, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Mandy, for joining us. John Ewing, great having you here. Marjorie. Shut up, bitch, and make me dinner.
Oh, man.
I think she smoked a joint before we did this show. The only way she can take it. Anyway, I love you, dear.
I love you too.
Okay. What? And finally, of course, we have
I forgot
to.
Jeffree Star.
Huh? What are you looking for?
You forgot Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Stein.
Oh,
Thank you.
Jeffree Stein. Yeah. Oh, Jeffree Stein. I forgot to say Jeff Stein and Vernon Nunn. I said Vernon Nunn, right? Didn't I? Okay. And
Yes.
John
You
Ewing,
get
Charlene.
distracted.
and Margie. And now I get to say, and ladies and gentlemen, to sign off our show, the star of The Price is Right.
That's all, folks.
No, wait, not
Oh,
yet.
okay.
All right. So wait, take 2. Hold on.
I'm doing
Take 2. Okay.
Edward Berger, who leaves us by saying,
That's all, folks.
bye, everybody. See you next
Thank
week.
you,
Bye-bye.
Alex.
Bye-bye.